And we're back. Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Hub. Me and
It's
my partner Mike.
it's been a while, but we're back. Many people thought that we were done forever and never
I don't
coming
think
back.
anyone thought that, to be honest.
That's all I was hearing. Are you ever gonna make one of these again? We had competitors getting ready to do podcasts, the whole works. But we fought through a lot. New houses, new babies, new teams, new trades, and we're here.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Live from Moscow. All right, no matter where I am or where I'm traveling, I'm always here for you guys.
Yeah. That's probably the reason people check in, is just to see what your background is each week. So exciting times. All right, well, let's kick it off. We're not going to try and go over everything that's happened in the past. What, we missed 3 weeks, or I missed 3 weeks. Um, they did a week 3 show with Vice, but we're not going to try and recap everything that we missed over the last 3 weeks. We'll just focus more on this week and moving forward. So, started off with the buzz from around the Hive section, where we just try and recap everything, news notes, things that have gone on in the league, and talk more about that. Um, the big trend this week seems to have been trades. We have a pretty active league where trades always seem to be happening, which is really cool. It's one of the things I love about this league. One of the things I don't like about this league is that Vice makes 10 to 15 transactions a day. But the things I do like is the amount of trades that we do. So we're going to break down and talk a little bit about that. Not too much, but let's start with the most recent one and work our way back. Actually, no, we'll work our way to that one last. So Todd Gurley, best running back in the league, was dealt this week, and it involved Pat's team and Kirill's team. Kirill traded Zach Ertz, Cooks, and Kenyon Drake, his beloved Kenyon Drake. It took Todd Gurley to get Drake to move. It was a very moving moment too. The little inside scoop that behind the scenes most people don't know about. Pat actually bought Kirill a signed Kenyon Drake card, rookie card, and gave it to him as a gift. This and within an hour, Kirill traded him to Pat. It was very moving, very touching. So, Kirill, anything you want to say about that trade?
It's all part of the plan, Michael. It's all part of the plan. You make
Getting
them
people to buy
believe
you
the
cards was the
value,
plan.
and then the value rises, and you trade them. I think this is one of the most fair trades that happen in the league. I believe, and it is my opinion, I give up the best fantasy tight end in the league. Many compare them to Travis Kelce. I believe that he is better. He's got over a dozen more receptions than him. He's got more yards than Travis Kelce. I think he's the best tight end. Drake has had a slow season. Last week was good. And Cooks, I mean, he's always good. I believe that I've received the best fantasy player since LaDainian Tomlinson 28 touchdown year. I do not know if Todd Gurley is going to reach that, but he's having one hell of a season. And with some of his receivers being banged up, I am hopeful that they're going to use him in the passing games. He's been averaging about 5 catches. So
They
the
will.
only reason I
They
did
always
it
do
is
the passing game.
it's because I do have depth. Um, because I got a running back, and then I still have, you know, some solid wide receivers, and the only issue is tight end. But it seems like Baker Mayfield's really liking Njoku with Njoku having 10 points last week. So
Yeah, I think it's a trade that made sense for both teams. Pat had star power but needed depth, and Krill had depth but needed star power. So it's one of those weird trades that actually makes sense on both sides. Next trade involved myself. I traded away Fuller and Kittle just because I felt bad for Kittle. Kittle needed a home. He's worth starting. He's the number 5 tight end on the year, and he's just sits on my bench. And this is another trade I think that made sense for both teams. Vice needed a tight end pretty badly. He didn't have anybody, and it's probably worth. Well, he didn't even keep Fuller for more than 20 minutes, so that's kind of irrelevant. But I like it because I upgraded my wide receiver with Juju. Gets give me some good Juju on the team. So I don't know if there's much to talk about with that one.
no, I mean, yeah,
No,
it makes sense. I like Juju. I think that he doesn't bring his a diva personality. He just goes out and he plays hard on every single play. He doesn't complain if the ball doesn't get thrown to him. You see Antonio Brown more and more every year, every game. You see him on the sidelines complaining, or if you were watching any of the primetime games, anytime the ball doesn't get to him or it's overthrown, he gets pissed. He's shaking his head. He's beating up kids or yelling at kids, whatever's coming out. Something is not right with Antonio Brown. Maybe the fame's getting to his head. We're not sure. But Juju is going to be the next star on that team. That's what happens with the Steelers. They just switch off. They go from Heinz Ward, then they went to, was it Mike Wallace, then Sanders, then Brown, now Juju. Washington's going to be behind Juju. So it's just the wheel of the steel curtain for the wide receivers. That's how they work. So
Yeah. And then the trade that I'm pretty sure everybody agrees was a great trade for both teams. It involves our good friend Hoppy and Vice. Trade was Julio Jones, some nobody, for Will Fuller and Aaron Jones. So Jones for Jones, just in math class, seems to be fair, right? Like X for X, that's equal, and then he also gets a Fuller. So I
well,
think
I mean,
I think Hoppy won that trade, mathematically speaking.
obviously, first look, if you just see it on paper, you're like, oh my God, Julio Jones got moved. Then you see guys like Aaron Jones who haven't done much, and Will Fuller who's always hurt, but is a big play guy. It tends to kind of freak people out. I mean, it freaked me out. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But not defending anybody, but like I said in the chat, people know their team's better than anyone else. Hoppy obviously felt like Julio Jones wasn't producing last year. I remember Erica having Julio Jones, and she was very frustrated with him because she could not count on him. He was very
He doesn't get in the
unreliable.
end zone. That's the issue.
He just doesn't score touchdowns. Yeah, he's had 2 games this year where he eclipsed 170 yards, but other games are he hasn't scored a touchdown this year. So I get the frustration. Clearly, Hoppy being from Wisconsin, he's hoping that Aaron Jones could come in and just become this crazy playmaker running back that the Packers have been longing for. And Will Fuller, he's looking for that big play guy that comes in, has a crazy 20-point game.
Here's the thing. I get it more. I get Jones, right? Like Jones has the talent, I would argue, to be the best running back for the Packers. He's not getting the snap percentage you want. He's not getting the opportunity on that team. It'd be like Kerryon Johnson, but with better competition. So, like Aaron Jones, I get it. If he breaks out and becomes the one, I'm sure a lot of people think that he could be. I get that, but Fuller's trending down. Like he's always got injury issues. He's super touchdown dependent, and he played the entire game last week, and they were throwing a Cootie, however you want to pronounce it, much more. So Fuller, I don't get that one as much. Jones maybe, but still to give up Julio for that seems like a mistake. But you never know. You never know in fantasy.
I mean, I think that the thing is maybe sometimes people just need to shop around a little bit because me and Mike both have agreed that if we knew that Julio was in the block and he came to us, we probably could have offered something better. I could have definitely offered maybe even 2 running backs and a wide receiver for Julio Jones to give Hoppy some depth. Just something. I mean, but hey, you get the guys that you want and you feel good about. So, I guess those are the trades.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's gone down in the NFL. We'll just go through it quick. We won't drag on it much. Le'Veon Bell, last time I was doing a podcast, was still just holding out, not playing football, down in the Bahamas on jets. Now sounds like he's set to come back after the bye week. So that's big. We'll see what shakes out there. And it'd be a little curious to see what the workload is like for both guys when Bell's back. Will it go back to Bell getting everything and Connor getting nothing? Will it be a split more so?
Well, that's not going to happen because Ben Roethlisberger already came out and said that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but Big Ben doesn't always get his way in Pittsburgh either. That's why Todd Haley went, because Todd Haley would push him around. So just who knows? It'll be curious to see regardless.
Well, Big Ben does get his way because he hated Todd Haley, so Todd Haley got moved.
After years of being the offensive coordinator, he did. We'll see. We'll see. It's interesting. It seems like all the news is really just about running backs here. Like the next thing is Leonard Fournette. You just can't trust him. Can't rely on him. He's always hurt, and recent reports are saying he might be out now through the bye week, which could push him out to week 10 for the Jags. So that's not good. And in his absence, they signed Jamal Charles. Looks like TJ Yeldon is running back 1, not the running back 1, not Todd Gurley, but an RB1. So Jacksonville just can't.
I think TJ Yeldon's a good fit because he's kind of able to do everything for them with back-to-back games. He's averaging 22 points, fantasy points a game, so he's
No.
definitely going to be a guy you want to play.
We'll have to see though what happens with Fournette. If he when he comes back, he could be a person who takes a team and leads them through a strong championship run. Because if he comes back after that long, you would assume that his hamstrings would be healthy. If it's healthy and he's on a team, a good team for a playoff push in fantasy, he could make a huge difference for a team. So like right now, he's irrelevant for the next 4 weeks. But when he comes back, he could be the thing that puts a team over the top.
I think even when he comes back, his first 2 games, he's not going to get a full workload.
That's fine. Fantasy playoffs start week 14 for us. So just saying, he's a guy to keep an eye on. Heard it here first.
Heard it here first. It's
yep.
Leonard Fournette. You're not talking about some guy nobody knows about.
No, about fantasy impact in the playoffs. Heard it here first.
What?
Breaking news.
That's awful.
Matt Breida, another running back, seems to just have really ugly injuries every single week.
No, what seems to be he's pretty dramatic. So if like you're watching the games, he goes down, you literally think somebody sniped him from the audience. Like he's dead. He was literally what happened. I don't know what happened, but he was crawling on his stomach and he was like grabbing the grass and I was like, "Oh my god, like he's bleeding out. He's done. He's dead. He's turning into a zombie." And then all of a sudden, he just twisted an ankle. It's not even any like crazy degree. It's like 2nd-degree high ankle sprain. But you could literally play with that tomorrow. But he's hurt all the time.
It wasn't even a high ankle sprain, right? It wasn't like a medium ankle
Second sprain? Grade, which isn't even that bad. I mean, out for like a week, maybe. You could potentially still play with it. But the guy's hurt all the time, and he's super dramatic about it.
Gotta love it. He's the only reason anyone's still talking about the Niners. So, and then the other big return that has happened now is Mark Ingram. So Ingram is back, and all the other Saints players' values go down. Congrats, Kamara, Thomas, Drew Brees. I'd argue. I'd say everyone goes down. Who benefits by Ingram coming back? Kyle Spitzer. Who doesn't? Mainly Justin. That's probably the biggest hit because he's got Kamara and Thomas. So we'll see what shakes out. It was just 1 week, but Ingram looks to have inserted himself back as the dominant rushing back on that team, which takes away pass attempts and yards for Drew Brees, catches from Thomas, and volume share for Kamara.
Well, if you look at Kamara, he's been unbelievable. He's been super explosive, but it's not like he was putting back-to-back 100-yard games rushing. He would have like 36 rushing yards, and then he would have like 2 receiving touchdowns and like a goal line touchdown. So, he's just a big play guy. They love him at receiving, but the guy that they like going down the field and wearing down the defense is Ingram because you want to wear down the defense because then that opens everything up for Brees. So they're going to keep absolutely pounding it with Ingram.
It may be week 1 of Ingram coming back too might be one of those emotional ones like, hey, we want to get him back. We want to reinsert him into the team. Kamara's been the guy for 4 weeks. Let's give him a little bit of a rester here heading into the bye. And then we'll see what happens when they come back. It may not be as dramatic as it was in week 5 that it was last week. But either way, it's not a positive for those guys. So.
Are you worried about I'm not saying you're worried about him, but Michael Thomas he started off unbelievable and his last 2 games are 6 points and 9 points.
I'm not worried about him. I had Michael Thomas last year and he's very consistently going to give you 10 points a week, usually, roughly, right? 10 to 15. I think he's great. I think he's very talented. He's the best receiver on the Saints. But I'll tell you this, the Michael Thomas we saw through the first 2 to 3 weeks will not, that's the best of Michael Thomas. And I think just by having Ingram back and being able to run it and control the clock more, and the defense played better last week too. If the defense plays better, you're going to have less shootouts, which means less passes, which means less Michael Thomas. And it also means less Kamara. So that defense plays better and Ingram comes back. I'm not worried about him. He's still going to be good. He's still that main guy and a great team, but I don't think they'll need him as much.
Yeah.
So, and then the last big thing to talk about here is Sleeper. Back and at it again, keeps innovating and creating and changing, unlike old archaic ESPN. Came out with new Halloween emojis. So enjoy them, everybody. 'Tis the season.
There you go.
Now, speaking of Halloween, me and Krill had a bit of a debacle over what to call this next section. I wanted to have it be Halloween themed. I know we're a couple weeks out from it, but I wanted to call it Nerds or Candy Corn because nobody likes candy corn as far as I'm concerned. But apparently, Krill thinks a lot of people do. Maybe it's a Russian thing. I don't know.
There's
Um,
no Halloween in Russia, so it's definitely not a Russian thing.
there's no
People,
Halloween in Russia?
no. There's no
Really?
Halloween. No.
You guys do Day of the Dead or anything?
There's something like not Day of the Dead, not Mexican. There's something similar to this. I just don't know. I don't really remember it. I remember going when I was like 6 years old to somebody's apartment or something, but don't remember what it's called. Don't think it's very popular. But candy corn is like this. If you think of Halloween, like if you go to any kid, any person, you're like, "Hey, what's a Halloween signature candy?" No one's gonna say nerds.
Well,
Like they're
I
gonna
put
say
nerds 'cause I
candy
like.
corn.
I mean, I guess you
So,
could do like.
okay, so just explain this. For you nerds, the candy is going to be positive. In candy corn, the most popular Halloween candy will be
Negative.
negative. Okay,
I
just
mean,
want to
we,
make sure
we
the
could have
viewers
done
know
like
this.
we could have done chocolate or apple. We could have done that. You
What do you
know,
mean?
like if you go to a house, did you get a chocolate bar or did you get an apple? No one wants an apple.
Who the hell gives out fruit?
I don't know. I'd
Yeah.
rather get it. I'd rather get an
Hey,
apple.
hey,
Okay,
call for help.
we've
Michael
spent long
needs
enough on this. We spent long enough. We'll put a,
chocolate. He's an apple.
I don't have an apple,
Oh
but
my god.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're
Oh
gonna
boy.
dive in now to the section.
Oh
So
boy.
nerds are good. Cotton candy bad. We'll put a post
Cotton
up.
candy.
Oh
You're
my
switching it
bad.
up.
Candy corn. Whatever. Okay.
I don't know what's going on. Okay.
On to the start. So my nerd quarterback of the week is Ed. Me and Krill haven't gone through this. We don't know who's who. Mine's Matt Ryan. He gets to play a weak Tampa Bay defense at home. I expect him to be. Matt Ryan's a guy who I don't think is always very motivated to play. He seems like he just doesn't really care that much. But he came off a bad week against the Steelers. The team's a 1-4. They're just struggling, and I think they're going to take their anger out on the Bucks. So I expect him to throw for. Anytime I make these predictions, Crow always gives me shit. But let's say 300 yards and
One touchdown and 150 yards. He'll kill it.
300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. There, you like that? There you go. I think he'll have a huge game. Matt Ryan, start him if you got him.
I for my segment it's stars and scars. Pretty self-explanatory. No cotton candy,
We got,
apples or
we got to
chocolate.
do the same. All
What?
right, whatever. Just go.
Uh, and so I also had Matt Ryan, but just to throw another guy out there, Andy Dalton, I think is also a good pick. He is at home versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has had a tough time, and they usually don't play as good on away games. And Andy Dalton has been on fire this year. So,
Yeah,
and
I
Mixon
like
is
that.
back. Yeah. So
I like
I
the
think
Andy
Andy
Dalton
Dalton.
watch ball. I think that's
So
good.
he's my star nerd of the week. You like that? Star nerd?
Next week we're not gonna have 2 names for the same section. We'll just go to your stars and scars. I'm gonna do cotton candy half the time anyway. So my scar quarterback is Big Ben. Big Ben has been hot. He's been on fire. He's been lighting up. Here's the thing: is if you look at the quarterback matchup this week, a lot of them are very good and positive, unless you do dumb ones like Dak Prescott, who plays Jacksonville. But they're like a lot of quarterbacks have good matchups this week, so it's kind of tough. So if I had to pick one, which I'm picking one, I'm choosing Big Ben, just because Cincinnati's defense has played well. The team's played well. Big Ben's on the road. He's been better on the road this year than previous years, but he's still inconsistent. So Big Ben, just a guy I'm not as excited to start. Travis has 2 other quarterbacks, so I don't think it matters. He'll start Rodgers this week. But yeah, that's my scar quarterback of the week.
My scar candy corn
All
of the
right,
week
scarred
is
candy
gonna
corn.
be Jared Goff. You're like, holy shit. Yep. He is in Denver. I think Denver has a really good pass rush. And what is going to happen with the wide receivers? Is Cooper Cup, and Cooks playing? Are they out? They both have concussions. If they're both playing, he could have an okay game. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. I don't think he's going to throw more than 3 touchdowns, 1 or 2, 1 interception. I think Denver's pass rush is hungry to get in there and sack him. I think it's going to be hard to contain Miller, and that's my guy that I
Yeah, I
don't like.
thought about Goff too, but the thing is Denver's defense Didn't look very
Yeah.
good last week against Darnold. Robbie Anderson was lighting them up. They weren't getting to the quarterback as well as they should have.
They love playing at home, though.
I know. I thought about it too. But the Rams offense is just clicking right now. And it doesn't even seem like it matters who you put in there. Like they put in Josh Reynolds and he was producing last week. So we'll see. They just seem to find a way to out scheme and outplay the opposing teams. So, all right, my nerd star, my
Star nerd.
Star nerd. There we go. See, we brought it together now. It's gone full circle. My star nerd running back this week is probably the same as Krill's, and we probably should have gone through these beforehand, but it's Sony Michel. So Krill, find another one while I talk about Sony Michel. Sony Michel is playing against the Chiefs, who doesn't have a very good defense. They made some turnovers and nice plays last week, but it's still not a good defense. And I think New England is going to want to try and slow down the game. Because I think, here's a hot take, I think Sony Michel is a better fantasy running back than Kareem Hunt. And I think, yeah, I know. And I think that they will run the ball, slow it down. They're at home, right? It's in New England, I believe.
Yes.
And I think they're just going to slow it down so Pat Mahomes can't be Showtime Mahomes. And I think Sony Michel gets a lot of carries and does really well. So Sony Michel, that's the guy I like. Krill, you?
My star nerd is going to be the Minnesota Vikings backfield. They are playing literally the worst run defense, and that is Arizona. I know that the running backs have sucked.
All right, pick one. Who are you starting? Who's the guy? Is it Cook or is it Murray?
It depends who's playing.
Or is it Ham or is it Rock?
No, it depends who's playing. I honestly think Cook is going to play. I think he's had enough fucking time off not doing anything. He's been kind of a buster so far. So I think Cook is going to play, and I think he's going to light up Arizona for easily. If he plays 100 yards, no problem. Probably by the third quarter.
I wouldn't touch a Viking running back right now. The Vikings.
That's why I said it's going to surprise you.
The Vikings offensive line's been shit. They just been bad. I think Kirk Cousins will sling it.
Did you see Alfred Morris just busting out 10-yard runs last week?
Hey, I guess
Alfred Morris. The dude's he's a guard.
We'll see.
He's so slow.
I don't love it. We'll see. But I think, was Sony Michel your guy, though? I stole him, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So
that's fine if we agree. I mean, if we agree on the same guy, guys, go to DraftKings. Go to FanDuel.
Yeah, start these
Put
guys.
in the code Fantasy Hub. Get your 10% off.
Matt, the team right now is currently Matt Ryan and Sony Michel. It's a pretty good team.
Put in the code Fantasy Hub for your 10% off. DraftKings or FanDuel.
Except if you do this one, Sony Michel plays Monday night, so you'd have to have those ones that do Monday night games, and that kind of sucks.
You could do Thursday through Monday.
My scarred candy corn of the week.
Scarred candy corn, yeah.
All right, you might like candy corn, but no one likes scarred candy corn.
First off, by the way, I don't like candy corn. But everyone around
does, and Erica sometimes
everyone likes it, and it's always at my house on Halloween. So
ain't nobody like that. Anyways, mine is David Johnson. David Johnson, that Arizona offense is atrocious. It's awful.
It's much better than it was before.
It's a bad team. And they're playing the Vikings, and I think the Vikings are ready to get another W. And I think David Johnson's weeks have been saved by touchdowns. His only hope that I see in this game is garbage time, whether that be dump off passes or getting in and getting a touchdown. It doesn't matter. I think the Vikings win that game by a lot. And outside of garbage time saving David Johnson, I don't like him at all this week. I just start him, but you're not going to want. You're not excited about it at all.
You know that this season, that David Johnson hasn't eclipsed 75 rushing yards in a game.
It doesn't surprise me. That's because the offensive coordinator, Mike McCoy, is just beyond stupid. There's no originality on that team. The offensive line is bad. Rosen's not good. The receivers aren't good. Larry Fitzgerald is walking with a cane. They're not using David Johnson the right way. It's an awful excuse for a team, and they need to fire their coaches right now. But whatever. Good for them. Good luck.
By the way, I do want to make an announcement. Nick Seacott is alive. His posting is, "I'm dead. Period. Trades to come soon. Period. Quit throwing me trash offers, please! Exclamation! Exclamation! Exclamation!
Breaking news.
He's back. Okay, so my scarred candy corn is going to be Barkley versus the Eagles. I mean, this is as easy as pouring myself a cup of water, leaning back and drinking it slowly, and then really enjoying the fresh water. This guy is going to get shut down. He will not have 100 yards. He'll have a couple catches. The Eagles' run D is the number one in the league. They have a great pass rush. I think it's all going to be throwing the ball. Yep. I just don't think he's going to go anywhere. Don't pick him.
I think the Eagles D sucks. So
Not their run D. It's number one in the league. Thanks.
that's fine. They'll throw the
Thanks,
ball to
Mike.
Barkley because I think the Eagles pass rush is decent.
Oh, we're not breaking down the Eagles, man.
Hey, I think they're going to be able to build out Barkley. Who would you rather start, Barkley or David Johnson?
Doesn't matter. They both suck.
The answer is Barkley. All right. My starry nerd, wide receiver is the recently ashamed and traded Julio Jones. One man's trash is another man's gold. So good for you, Vice.
Gold, it's treasure.
No, it's gold. He's just gold. He's not. I mean, this is a more specific form of treasure. We know what he is. He's gold, fantasy gold. So Julio Jones, he plays for Atlanta. In case you forgot, he's Matt Ryan's top weapon. In case you forgot. And he's gonna get in the end zone.
5 more touchdowns than him.
And he's gonna get in the end zone in case he forgot how to do that. So Julio Jones, I think of a big game, and I think
what's a big game?
He has like 2 of these games a year where he has 200 yards and multiple touchdowns. So don't mind me, just shooing away my dog. So yeah, Julio, that's my guy. Start him.
Oh boy.
Good girl.
Can't really pause it. What we're missing your bad pick. Our candy corn. Okay, I'm just gonna move on and go to my star nerd. My star nerd is going to be wide receiver Sterling Shepard versus the Eagles. The Eagles secondary has been bad. Top 5 bad. A lot of attention is going to be on Barkley and Odell. I know Ingram's ruled out, but which means Shepard is going to have a monster game. I think Shepard is going to have a bigger game than Odell. I think Shepard's going to have a bigger game than Barkley. I think Shepard's going to have easily 100 yards and a touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to go off. My Scar candy corn.
No, it's my turn. It's my turn. I'm back. I just had to put Luna in a room. That's all.
Okay.
Scar, wide receiver. Scarred cotton candy corn, wide receiver. Corey Davis. I guess my theme for, bad running backs and wide receivers this week comes from playing on bad offenses. Tennessee Titans, they kind of suck. They're not that good. Mariota is not a good quarterback. Sorry. They don't have good running backs. And Corey Davis, I think, is actually talented, but he plays for a shit team. So, and Mariota just can't do anything. Just can't do anything. They got beat by the Bills last week. So I think Corey Davis will struggle. He plays Baltimore, and Jimmy Smith is back, and they'll lock him up. Actually, I had 2 on this one, so I'll see who Krill's other one is, and then go from there. Krill, who's yours?
My Scar candy corn is going to be Allen Robinson versus the Dolphins.
That was my other guy.
I think Dolphins secondary is legit. They were leading the league in takeaways, and their secondary is just playing really well.
Xavier Howard is their top corner, and he's a rising star. He just shuts guys down. So I think Allen Robinson, that was my other guy I had here. I actually had 2 for this one. I think he'll struggle this week. Yeah. So, starry nerd, tight end. We're gonna have to do just a 1 word for this next week, but is Cameron Brate, because man, isn't he great? He's back. Jameis is back. The crab legs are back. Everything's back. It's a great week to be alive. And he's playing that Atlanta team. And the Atlanta team's going to score a lot of points. So Tampa's going to try, but they don't have the magic because Fitz has been benched. So I think with O.J. Howard out and the relationship that Winston and Braid have had before. I expect him in a big game. He's had 2 games this year with touchdowns, and you can't ask for too much from tight ends. So in a game with a lot of scoring, strong relationship with the quarterback, I think Cameron Brate will be a great start this week.
I'm gonna go with
Brate.
Yep. My star nerd is gonna be Jeff Harmon. He is the Denver tight end. Since Butt went down, he's been getting a couple targets. Kansas City, he got 7 targets, and Jets, he's got 4. I know he didn't do much against the Jets because the Jets are the #1 team in covering tight ends in the league. But I honestly think that for how many bad tight ends there are this year, he's actually a pretty good pickup to play. I think he's going to average 5 to 6 targets a game. And for tight end's not really doing shit this year, it's a pretty good guy. I think he's going to have a good game because the Broncos are going to want to pass. Yeah.
I think that guy sucks. I think he'll have a bad week. But Krill's main guy was Brate, so I'm going to leave it alone. My scarred candy corn tight end this week might be yours too, Krill. Do you have Jordan Reed? Because I do.
I do not.
Okay, yeah. Jordan Reed had an off week last week against the Saints in a situation where they needed to throw the ball. Vernon Davis was on the field more than him. Don't know why. They used Vernon Davis more than him. Don't know why. Maybe his webbed feet are falling apart or something. I don't know. But Jordan Reed had an off week, and now he goes and plays Carolina, which is a better defense in my opinion. So I would not be excited about starting Jordan Reed at all.
Erica, what happened? Okay.
Ironically enough, I have a fantasy league in a different league. My bad guys for this week, David Johnson, Corey Davis, and Jordan Reed are all on my team. So go me.
My scar any corner of the week is gonna be Ebron because Doyle may be back, and like I said, Jets are the best team in the league in covering tight ends.
Doyle was confirmed not to be back this week.
Still saying Ebron, as hot as he's been, he's getting shut down.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. Would you rather start Ebron or Reed?
Reed.
Oh God, give me Ebron right now. Reed's just a failure. But all right, so jumping into the last section here is our Sharks and Guppies. We're just gonna run through the matchups and give our predictions for who's gonna win. So the first one that I have here is myself versus Erica, because Sleeper defaults and puts your team at the top. So I'm back, guys. I am predicting Erica to win.
Jesus.
But if you look at it, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why, if you look at this, would you not choose her to win? Like, she's got great matchups, like Melvin Gordon against the Browns, Yeldon all by himself against Dallas, Patrick Mahomes against New England in a game where I don't think New England's defense that good. They're going to try and run to slow him down, but he should be able to put up points. And then with me, T.Y. Hilton was ruled out again. Marlon Mack is coming back, which makes Hines worse. I like Gronk and Juju this week. I've liked Gronk every week, and he hasn't really produced like I want him to, though. So I don't know how you could look at these two teams and pick me to win. I would be willing to bet $50 right now that Krill has picked Erica to win as well, just because she's got the better team with the better matchup this week.
So you're gonna bet $50 that I picked her to win?
What's
that? How would you know? What if I say I pick you? You're gonna give me $50?
No, because you'd be a liar. Because I know you picked Erica.
How do you know that?
Who'd you pick?
I picked Erica.
Yeah,
Mike is going to lose 2 weeks in a row. His team sucks. Next.
Is that the analysis you have?
Obviously, Erica's team is better right now. Melvin Gordon, Yeldon, Murray, or Cook, whoever, is just going to overpower the rest of the guys. I'm not a big fan of Sanu. I know he's been hot, and he's playing Tampa Bay. But if Matt Ryan is locked in on Julio Jones to have a big game, Sanu isn't going to get shit.
Hey, if I get the right tingling, the right sensation, I might just start Amari Cooper, and he might just have 20 points.
Oh, God.
Be careful.
But, I mean, yeah, Juju and Gronk could have good games.
It's not enough.
I think Erica's going to win this one.
Yeah. So next up, we got the recently found to be alive Nick against Vice.
I mean, he's really putting
A
stuff
lot.
up on the. He's really chatty.
That's good. Proud of him.
All right, Vice
Um,
and Nick.
so in Vice versus Nick, I have. I think this one will be close. Vice has really good wide receivers this week. Julio Brown, Cooper Kupp if he plays, um, Julio Jones. Like he's just got really good receivers. Nick's running backs are better. They're more talented, but I don't know how well their situation
This
is
is a
going to be.
fucking weird matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't
Nick,
know
Nick
what
has
is going to
guys who are
happen.
on my cotton candy, scarred cotton candy list, or candy corn, or just whatever. They're not good. Like he's got David Johnson, he's got Jordan Reed. I'm not really excited about those kind of guys. Keenan Allen struggled all season basically. Alshon Jeffrey had one great week and one bad week. You just don't know. But I'm going to pick Vice to win in a close game.
I'm picking Vice to win too. I think Jags defense is gonna be significantly outscoring the Broncos. Broncos are playing against the number one offense. Jags get bad Dallas team. All they have is Zeke. Literally nobody else. The star power at wide receiver with Brown, Jones, and Cup is a lot better than Crabtree, Jeffrey, and Keenan Allen. That seems to have disappeared. My question for Vice is definitely the running backs. Smallwood, I'm not sure if he's a good start. Giants defense at run is not bad. And Clement is back after missing 2 weeks. He's healthy. He's ready to go. They really like him. I always thought he would be the feature back if Ajayi wasn't there. And then Carson. I mean, he splits time with Davis. So I don't know. I think Vice is going to win strictly due to
I,
special teams and wide receivers.
I bet most people would be surprised to hear that statement in week 6 of the NFL that Chris Carson is splitting time with Mike Davis for the Seahawks. Um, Rashad Penny, what a dud.
Yeah.
All right, next matchup is Pat versus Spitzer. And
This is an interesting one.
I really wanted to pick Spitzer. I did. I think there's potential there for him to break off 8 wins in a row and do the greatest streak. I don't know
Oh my God.
since someone else won 8 games in a row.
Sounds like he's your mortgage guy.
But here's the thing: he is starting Tariq Cohen and Eli Manning, and it's tough to pick somebody to win when they're starting those 2 guys. So because of that, I'm going to go with Pat. Zach Ertz, newly acquired Zach Ertz, has a good game for him, and I think Tom Brady will probably have a pretty good game too. So we'll go with Pat, but you never know. I think if Spitzer moves some stuff around, maybe the winds change. So
I think I pick Pat as well. I think Tom Brady's going to have a huge game against Kansas City. I think undoubtedly he's throwing for 4 touchdowns. Kansas City beat him last year. He's at home. He's going to win that revenge game. Everybody's talking about the Chiefs. He's going to come in and absolutely smash their secondary.
how's Sony Michel going to tear it up and be a great running back start if Brady's throwing for 4? I think
How do you know he doesn't catch any? Let me show a catch a touchdown.
Okay.
And then I don't know. The thing is Spitzer's missing. Obviously, Ingram. I know he only had him for 1 week. But by the way, if I'm Pat, I'm definitely starting Gabriel, probably instead of Cutie. Even though Cutie's been hot, because I don't know. Buffalo's a tough defense, and Gabriel, he's been pretty decent.
If I'm Pat, I'm starting Cutie over Gabriel. So hope that helps.
Pat just has there's not really a lot of questions in his lineup. Everyone's just kind of pretty decent. Cohen has 5 points, 3 points, 8 points, then 26, but you don't know what to expect with him. And Brady's just going to outplay Eli Manning. I think that's going to be minimum a 15-point difference.
I guess Spitzer is hoping that Eli to Odell just destroys the Eagles and takes them to victory. Could happen. We'll see. They're at home at least. So next up is Donnelly versus Jeremy. You got to listen to the way the wind's blowing. And I'm going to go with Donnelly in this. Jeremy's just got bad luck right now. He's lost 4 games this year, something like that, by or 3 games. Has he won 3 and 1? I don't know, but he loses games by less than a point twice. So it's just not meant to win right now. I think
Well, just look at
Donnelly's
running
got a
backs.
good squad. We already talked about that Michael should have a good game, or Sony Michel, excuse me, should have a big game. And I think Devontae Adams also is in store for a big game. Jeremy needs to shake out his bad juju. Hopefully he can do it, but I'll pick Donnelly for now.
I'm big in Downey too. For me, definitely comes down to running backs. Elliott, Sony Michel, Lamar Miller, who's playing. I mean, they're going versus McCoy, who hasn't done anything all year. Thompson, who got hurt with a rib injury. Is he going to play? Is he not? Uh, Maybe they want to be cautious with him. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. Everyone else, Adams is the main guy versus AJ Green, Tyler Boyd versus Evans. I just think it's going to come down to running backs.
Yeah, I think one guy who could be interesting this week is we'll see how LaShawn McCoy does. He looked a lot better last week. They were using him more. It'd be nice to see him be better and do better. So we'll see. Next up is David versus Justin. And I'm picking David to win. Justin has the bye week blues. He's missing his Saints, Kamara and Thomas. And because of that, he has to start a guy like Robbie Anderson, who I don't want him on my team. I know he had 2 long touchdowns, but I don't want him on my team. So we'll see. Dave's team isn't super exciting this week, but he's not missing his big guys. His whole squad's there, like Thielen and Barkley. So I think that's enough to put him over the top while Justin's missing his Saints, aka his entire team.
Dave is going to sneak this one out. I'm not a huge fan of David's team. I mean, he really only has in the starting lineup 2 decent guys, Thielen and Barkley has a very tough matchup. I think he sneaks this one out just because Justin is missing Kamara and Thomas, and it's hard to count on, Lindsey and Freeman. I mean, they're literally on the same. Wait, what? Oh, Freeman. I thought it was the other fucking Freeman. Freeman. Apparently, he's no longer listed on the injury report. He could have a big game. But Robbie Anderson, Edelman coming back, Vance McDonald. I don't know. That's tough. David's going to sneak this one out.
Yep. Next matchup is Hoppy versus Travis. And this is the first matchup that I didn't even have to look at. I haven't even looked. I don't know who's on either team. Doesn't matter. I'm picking Travis. It's a no-brainer. This is my lock of the century. Travis is going to win. Travis does no wrong.
Look.
He starts because it's Travis. You don't pick against Travis. He's going to win. Watch. And Hoppy's traded away all of his good players.
You have really turned around on Travis. Holy
he's got
crap.
He's got a bunch of C-rated players.
Cool.
With Hoppy on his team. Travis does too, but Travis is a sports guru. He just knows everything. He's got the magical 8-ball and can see inside it, and boom, all of his guys just explode.
Travis's starting lineup, besides his flex, is pretty nasty.
Yeah.
He's got Rodgers, Mixon, White, Nelson, Baldwin, Kelsey, Tucker, and he's probably going to put Bears defense in.
Yeah, I mean, I know the teams too, so I don't need to look at the matchups necessarily, but I'm taking Travis, and I think it's a landslide because that's what Travis does to people. He's manager of the week every single week. Don't mess with him.
Okay.
Do you agree? I mean, did you pick?
Yes, I'm definitely picking Travis.
Yeah.
Starting lineups too.
Yeah. And then last up is Krill versus Jackie. Krill, you want to go ahead and give your thoughts on it first?
I mean, I'm going to win this one. Not really any special sauce or anything. It's just she's got hit with a lot of injuries. Obviously, losing her main guy, Fournette, doesn't help. And then, Ingram is out. I know Brait is good for her, but right now, I'm not even sure who she can start the other running back. You can't count on Crowell. Thomas has been garbage. Watkins has been garbage. Matt Ryan will have a great game. Hopkins always produces. Everyone else, I'm not sure what you can do or who you can even start in the running back spot. Maybe. I honestly don't know. Montgomery.
You're picking yourself.
What?
You're picking yourself.
Yeah, I mean, her injuries killed her team. There's nothing you can do.
I agree. You have the better team. You have the better players. You have the better lineup. You have the better matchups. You have the better everything. But I'm calling for the upset of the century. Jackie pulls out the victory. It doesn't make sense. It may not even, she may not even score more points than you, but somehow she's going to win. Don't know how, but it's going to happen.
What? That doesn't make sense. Your last two are very odd. You didn't look at the previous matchup, Travis versus Hoppy.
Didn't need to.
And then you're just picking Jackie.
I think Matt Ryan is going to take that team.
So you're saying right now, because we want to bring in serious shit. You're telling me that Matt Ryan by himself is going to beat my entire team.
Well, I mean, she's going to start other people too, I would imagine.
Are you serious about this upset? Because I will put money on this. I want to know how serious you are, or are you just talking out of your ass?
I'm not putting money on it because I don't put money on these games, these matchups, especially when my team isn't involved. But yeah, I'm picking Jackie to win.
Okay. So if you guys are watching this, Mike will never pick himself to win, so don't take his matchup seriously.
Actually, when I was out in New York and DC, you guys asked me who I thought was going to win, and I picked myself when we were still doing this. So I do pick myself to win if I think I'm going to win.
Yeah, 1 out of 6 weeks.
No, 1 out of 4. We've done these 4. So
okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's absurd.
That's how I wanted to leave this podcast off. Leave it off.
Well, we're not. The podcast isn't ending. You can go with your interesting takes, but I'm going to stay and talk about our records. I'm just gonna fly through it quick. Justin is the only one at 5-0. Then it's Erica, Travis, you, and me at 4-1. Wow,
that's a lot up there at the top.
So let's say that's 5 that are, let's say, in the playoffs. Let's just pretend that.
I don't think you can lock that, but okay.
No, you can't. I'm just saying. But the hunt for the 6th spot, 2 games behind the leaders, are Pat, Don, Hoppy, David. I mean, and then you have, Spitzer trying to make a comeback, who has a decent team. Vice, who has a decent team, trying to make a comeback. I mean, that is nuts.
Which one of those teams do you take to make the last playoff spot, if you had to pick one right now?
Pat.
I'd take Spitzer.
I don't know. No one in the top 5 is going to fall off. And the last spot is going to be locked in by Pat. He has a really good team. And if Bell comes back, I don't think anyone below is going to have a better team.
My team could fall out of the top 5.
Yeah, we never know. Nick Seacott has $100. Spitzer is 97. Hoppy has 90. I'm just going off like the main ones. And Justin is 85. So that's kind of like the big money guys. I'm not sure what people are waiting for or saving for, but hey, it's their choice.
Yeah. Good for them.
Is that it? That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, we're back. We did it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope
it wasn't super long. I think it's less than an hour. I'm not sure. But thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, if you have any input or you guys want to see something different or you have some fresh ideas you want to see on the podcast,
or if you want to tell us if you like candy corn or not.
Yeah, I would be very interested. I wonder, we're going to have to do a test run and see if we're able to add in a 3rd person to this. I don't know, because I would like to bring some people in for interviews. I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
Bring in other elements. So we're going to have to figure that out. If we could just do a test run, maybe between me, Mike, and Vice, or me, Mike, and David, just for fun, off air, no podcast, just to see if we could bring in that 3rd person for a bit. But I want to thank my.
Maybe we could bring in Hoppy, put him on the hot seat, and ask him about his trades.
Sure.
Give the league what they want.
I want to thank my podcast co-host Mike for being here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Wish everybody good luck.
Thanks, guys.